The Baddie Bylogs is available on Kindle Unlimited. It is by Brandy Nikhil. I hope I'm saying that correct because this is my first time checking out a book by this author. This book is 54 pages. It came out August 12th of 2020. I saw it being promoted on Facebook, so that's what made me check it out. The book overview says, in the world of social media, everyone appears to be extremely confident, but do you really feel like the baddest chick you know? Do you empower other women simply by being yourself? Do you embody power in your own signature way? Do you know how to harness your emotions in a healthy way? If you did not answer hell yes to all these questions, this book is for you. It is a self help affirmations ebook as well as a 90-minute self help short reads. I think there's several reasons why I liked this book. One of the reasons being, I feel like the author did her thing when it came to the affirmations. I feel like it made you reconsider some of your viewpoints on things very quickly. This was a very much so women's empowerment book. It was very much so, listen, we're almost to another new year. Pop your shit, like dust off your collars, whatever sadness you had, you can go ahead and you can work on it one step at a time. Get a routine in your life, get a self-care practice in your life. Start taking your time so much more seriously. If you can afford to pay $100 a month, a year, whatever, for a grocery subscription, the author was like, you can save time doing that instead of walk around the grocery store for 2-3 hours and just find a better way to spend your time. And I feel like the reason why this book resonated so much with me is because I'm big on our time is finite. We don't know how much time we have left. You have to take your time serious. If you're going to say, I'm going to improve myself by reading more self-help books, then do it this year. If you say, I'm going to read more, do what you have to do. Instead of forcing yourself to feel like it's cheating to listen to audiobooks, listen to a damn audiobook instead of trying to force yourself to read when you know your eyes are tired after work. If you say you're going to start working out more, get you one of them stair steppers. Do 30 steps a day. Start there. Just start somewhere. And I feel like this book did a great job at motivating people to just get started. Like I said, I found the book being promoted on Facebook. I did not know what to think. I didn't know what to expect. I just felt like I had nothing to lose. I know that people have mixed feelings when it comes to Kindle Unlimited, when it comes to the pros and cons of it. I feel like this is one of them books where I was glad that it was on there because I probably would have missed out on an experience of checking the book out if I didn't have Kindle Unlimited. This author does have other books. I do see Undone, a novella, as well as Living Single, an interactive guide to living your best single life. Both of these books have a lot of reviews already. All three of them have a lot of reviews already. Undone is also available Kindle Unlimited. It is 64 pages. It dropped February 10th of 2024. That is actually my grandmother's birthday, so shout out to her for that. This author is from the city of Flint, Michigan. She was an inspiring author and avid reader since she was a child. The release of her first book, Living Single, is a dream come true. I am so excited for this author and everything that they have coming. This is a book that I would love to have in physical form as well. So I'll probably slide my behind back onto Amazon and go ahead and get me a physical copy just to have. Like, this is one of those books where you can gift it to someone to make them feel better if they're in a slouch, if they're in a rut, maybe if they just hit a breakup, or if they just graduated from school or just got out of the military and they're not sure what are the next steps for me in life. This would be a very good book to start with. Caught Up Between the Twins of Austin is a standalone by Lascelle R. It is available at Kindle Unlimited. The book is 214 pages. It just dropped November 3rd of 2024. Now, I'm going to start off by telling y'all, the two twins, Tate and Monte, Tate is my favorite. Monte plays for keeps. Monte, once he sets his sights on something, he wants it so bad, and he doesn't care that it's off limits. He doesn't care that his brother is telling him, like, listen, she works for the company, sir. I don't need you coming in here, ruining things, sleeping with this woman, messing up her head. Then she starts messing up the numbers. This woman is a very big asset. Do not come up in here with your nonsense that you're typically on. These are two twins that could not be more unlike. I feel like the only thing that really makes them alike is the fact these men look alike and the fact that they both are grinding in their own ways for money. Tate is very business savvy, I'm focused on how to get to his legal money. Monte is very either lay down or get rolled over. If I gotta sell for it, I'm gonna go do it. If we gotta rob him, that's what we're gonna do. If we gotta shoot him, that's what we're gonna do. Like, he just does not care. And every time he popped up in this book, I was just like, here this nigga go. Like, here he go. Who invited this nigga? Like, and it's even to the point where when one of the female main characters, I'm gonna tell y'all her name, when she pops up on the scene, her homegirls are even like, yeah, we're not introducing you to him. And she's like, why? Because Monte got too much nonsense with him. Like, once again, he's another one of those men that he'll sleep with you and only God knows what's going to happen. He might end up having you strung out on drugs after. He might end up having you hustling and trapping for him after. You just don't know how this man is going to spin things. The only person I feel like Monte cared about was himself. He was extremely selfish, extremely self-centered. He was very manipulative, would do whatever it took to get his eyes on what he wanted. This book overview says Tate and Monte St. Paul were the stars of Austin's Roads. Luckily, their fame extended into the corporate scene. The St. Paul siblings had always been a force to be reckoned with in Austin, yet, like any siblings, they had their own unique quirks. Tate St. Paul was known for his charm with women, also sensing when a woman was only interested in his wealth. Despite the numerous women who had tried to win his heart, he remained unyielding. It wasn't until a new employee made an impression that changed everything. However, a sinister figure begins to follow her, threatening her safety. Monte St. Paul, on the other hand, was the ultimate ladies' man. Feeling at home on the streets despite his repeated mistakes, he seemed unable to learn from them. One evening, he catches sight of someone he's been eyeing. The realization of how close they were sends a chill down his spine. The cost of his involvement, however, might be too high for him to bear. For Monte, the thought of losing everything seemed unthinkable. This time, he might be in for a shock. This is a book of Black and African American urban fiction. Now, the thing with the female main character, I love that the author did not downplay this woman. She was not like a weak and dingy female main character. She was not like, oh, I need to be saved by a man. And when you talk about strong-minded, when you talk about independent but feminine, when you talk about just one of those women that when she walks in a room, you know she smells good. Like, you know she smells good. She smells like incense, maybe. Well, no, because that's almost no. That's wrong. I feel like she smells like shea butter and vanilla and body oils and just she probably got red bottom heels on, and not even because she's bougie, because she's that girl, and who's finna play with her? Nobody. Like, I have nothing bad to say. I feel like this book really was able to keep my attention. I read the book, I feel like within a day, a couple, maybe 2-3 days of it dropping. This is not the only book that I have read by this author recently. This female main character in this book, her name was Rakita. I really liked her name. I felt like that was my first time seeing that in a book. Rakita is just really, loyalty is her middle name. When I say she's extremely loyal, she is such an asset to Tate's company that people keep coming in and trying to buy her out of her contract. Can we just buy you out? I'll give you 3 times how much you're making with him. I'll give you $3 million for this. I'll whatever. And she's the head of the IT department. She's very smart. She's very business savvy. She's very good at conflict resolution. She is about her business. And when this man gives her a shot at this job, she takes it so serious. And Tate really appreciates that. Tate appreciates the fact that he doesn't have to worry about if she'll go ahead and head over to his competitors and sell out all the secrets, because he's experienced that in the past. Tag somebody below in these comments if you have a reader, a publisher, a friend, an author friend that always is willing to show up and show out for you when nobody else does. Tag them in the comments if you're a reader and there's always that one homegirl, homeboy you got that's always like, here's a giveaway, here's this, here's that. Listen, tag them in the comments. I know I got one. My go-to person is Kara on TikTok. When I say me and this woman met not too long ago, but we are always tagging each other in posts and new releases and things, The point is, the version in this book of that is definitely Rakita, and the way she's standing is stepping behind Mr. St. Paul Tate. I'm not gonna say too much. All I'm gonna say is, while Tate and Monte don't got too much in common, they might both have their eyes on the same woman, and their approach to it is very different. I thought my girl was gonna be choosy. I'm not going to lie. Let me know what other books you all have read by this author in the comments below. The book Persephone is a short story. It is a part of an Amazon Original Stories Into Shadow collection. It's by Lev Grossman. This was my first time reading a book by this author. It's available with Kindle Unlimited. It is 31 pages. A teenage nobody crosses a line that will change her life forever in this short coming of age story by Lev Grossman. Ever since her dad disappeared 5 years ago, Persephone has quietly walled off the feelings she'd rather not feel. There's no room for pain or anger when you're just trying to get through the hell that is high school. I will not make this review super long. What I liked about this book was the fact that the author really showed how detrimental her father just up and leaving 5 years ago was. It has been like a week since I read the book, so it was so abrupt that she really is trying to figure out how to maneuver life from here. What is she supposed to do? How is she supposed to handle certain awkward moments and things? She sees her other friends kind of experiencing certain stuff. And she's in the classroom one day and she can't tell if there's an explosion that just went off, what just happened. All she knows is that her teacher is rushing towards her and she's being like led down the hallway while all the other teachers are scurrying the students away. And she's almost feeling like, am I like a walking ticking time bomb? Like, is it my fault that something just went wrong? What did I possibly just do? She's then like hurried down this narrow hallway and like kind of just escorted out the door, and even the nurse really isn't trying to give her direct and specific answers on what just happened. Is she in trouble? Who's going to contact her parent or whoever is supposed to come get her? I think that this book really showed how much sometimes it's tough when you're in high school or middle school. And I think sometimes the older we get, we kind of lessen the problems of younger people. But sometimes I think this book did a very good job of showing in this story what it's like when sometimes you're a teenager and you're existing, you're around people your age, you're not physically alone, but you dang near would rather be like a ghost or like a piece of wallpaper on the wall so that you could really just kind of do your own thing and not have to worry about if you're being judged by the people around you or what other people think. So one of the quotes in this book was, it was like I'd become a ghost without having to go through the messy intermediate step of actually dying. I just wanted to be somebody else. I didn't care who. Sometimes I felt like I couldn't breathe, like I was drowning in myself. For some people, bad things happening bring them together. We were those kind of people. She does meet a friend along the way that is kind of going through the similar journey as her. I think the ending of the book left me kind of sort of with a question mark, a little bit of like, I don't know. I think it had one of those kind of ambiguous endings where you weren't necessarily like, what the hell just happened, but kind of sort of what the hell just happened. And I think that I both liked and disliked the fact that I felt like there wasn't a clear ending. I don't know. This book has a lot of reviews already. It has a 3.6 rating on Amazon. It says customers find the storyline unique, smooth, and well written. They describe the book as a great, fun read with a good twist. Readers praise the author for his work. I enjoyed it. I thought that it did have decent pacing with the book. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't so slow that I was like, okay, is it almost over yet? I think it was really good. I think it was really, really good. I feel like the main character was so haunted by the loss and mourning her father not being there, that's what made it so difficult for her to experience the day-to-day events at school and also at home. I also think that she has some character development. Towards the end of the book, she wasn't as meek. She kind of was more growing into herself. Drop a comment below and let me know what other books I should be checking out by this author. I feel like this is not the first book that I've read in this collection. Let me see. I did read and review The Six Deaths of a Saint by Alex E. Harrow about 3 or 4 months ago. I'll drop a video in here of that book review that I did. The Candles Are Burning by Veronica G. Henry, I read and reviewed as well. So I'll drop that in here somewhere. Let me know what other books I should be checking out in this collection, because there's about 5 of them, 6 of them, 7 of them, and you can listen to them all individually. Like, they're not necessarily the same theme. It says some truths are carefully concealed, others merely forgotten. In this spellbinding collection, 7 acclaimed fantasy authors create characters who venture into depths where others fear to tread. But when forbidden knowledge is the ultimate power, how far can they go before the darkness consumes them? If you ever feel like things just are not going good for you in school, I promise you this book will overly top what's not going right for her. This book is by Black Lavish. This is not the first time I've read a book by this author. I will post up in here somewhere the book review that I did recently of this author's book. I feel like I am starting to fall in love with this author's collection of work. I went from, okay, I read that book like 2 or 3 months ago, to I was like, let me go ahead and start reading this one. I got done listening to this book with Alexa within 24 hours. Next thing you know, I was on to listening to part 2. This book is titled The Coldest December Ever. It is by Black Lavish. It's available with Kindle Unlimited. It was 126 pages. It came out December 21st of 2021. I love finding books that have come out that I can still relate to, that dropped even a minute ago. I'm not one of those people that listen to the same books as everybody else. I don't read the same books as everybody else. And I think a part of it is intentional. The other part is just the way that things have been going. So during the holidays, everyone hopes to be happy, but not all get their wish. Joy Winter's plan for a peaceful December was derailed when a secret affair is exposed and she gets expelled from college. Joy knows her parents will be furious, so she reaches out to her big sister, Natasha, who lives in Detroit with her boyfriend, Bliss. Natasha quickly offers to help her sister, and Joy sets off to Detroit, hoping to turn her life and December around. What Joy doesn't realize is that life is still happening for everyone else, whether it was the holidays or not, and that alone made her arrival to Detroit that much colder. With snow under her feet and newfound problems everywhere, this December seems to be the coldest one yet. Listen, this is a book of urban fiction. What I loved about this book is you got to read different characters' perspectives. You got to get a better understanding on why do certain characters feel the way they do about things. Joy and Natasha's parents are so judgmental. I don't know if I would have wanted them as my mom and dad. They are so judgmental. Like, they treat Natasha like she is the scum of the earth. You guys know how there's always that one family member that gets treated like the family crackhead. And really, they're not that bad. They're just kind of a free spirit. They kind of do their own thing. The only thing that Joy and Natasha's parents really have against her is the fact that Natasha is stripping and she moved to go be with her boyfriend, and he's kind of financing her lifestyle somewhat. That's like their biggest gripe that they have towards her. There's really not much that they can even say. And when Joy gets caught up in this affair, I'm not going to drop too many spoilers. Y'all, why was Joy hunching with the dean of the school? Now, she was already getting good grades, but to sleep with the dean, like, girl, is he paying your college tuition too? Let me find out. Like, talk about spice. And I feel like I'm blushing. I hate when I get to blushing in these books, but this author really be doing her thing. I feel like the spice in this book was definitely like 4 or 5 chilies. It was serious, because sometimes you just get so caught up in reading it and you'll be like, damn, they really sound like they're in love the whole time they're in lust. It's crazy. I really enjoyed too the way that the storyline, it just flowed. It wasn't one of those books where I was like, can we hurry up and get to the end? Like, can we hurry up and get to the good part? Within the first 2 chapters, I was already invested. Like, Joy, how you finna get yourself out of this situation? And Joy is young. She's a college student. So when she hits like a hard point in her life, Joy dang near feels like the world is over. Joy is like, how am I supposed to cope? I might as well crawl up underneath what you call it, like underneath a rock, curl up underneath a stone. Let me just go hide from my problems to an extent. And I love that her big sister was there with open arms. I love that Joy was, she defended Natasha a lot. She didn't allow people, especially their parents, to talk down on Natasha just because they didn't agree with her lifestyle. And I love seeing the way that they stuck together. Now, Natasha and Bliss, these two here, their relationship in this first book was so, there are highs, there are lows. Natasha knows what kind of man she has. She's trying to have her like last dance at the strip club, and she's like, I'm gonna go all out. When things don't go the way that she expected them to go, she's like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I got part two. And her husband's like, no, like what's not her husband at this point is her boyfriend slash kind of fiance. He's like, this was supposed to be it. I don't care what went wrong. I don't even care how much money we whisked out on. We're not short for money. Like, you know, I'm going to take care of you. This is one of those definitely like a rich husband type books. And it has some hood urban fiction like scenes to it, but it also had the perfect touch of softness, vulnerability. There wasn't so much ratchetness. I don't feel like there was any ratchetness in this book. I really don't. I want to say true like urban fiction minus the ratchet. Like, so you don't have like neighbors jumping on top of your car, scratching the key in your car. You're not hearing crackheads arguing on the street in this book. It is very like hood classy, and I like that. I really like that about this book. Sisterly love was big in this book. They really defended each other. I think for part one, at first, my least favorite character was probably, who was it? It might have been Saint for a second. Saint just, now is he charitable? Yes, like in his own way to an extent. Bliss is more, I want to say Bliss was the one that was more charitable, that was donating toys and things to the kids in need. But Saint just kind of has a, if I see a woman, I want her, I'm a pumper, I'm a dumper, and that's it. Like, he's damn near like the trash man. Like, he comes in and not necessarily makes it trash. He will see something that's really worth like a lot, and he'll be like, yeah, I want that. I wonder how quickly I can F this up. That's the vibe I get from him. I absolutely love this book. I did read part two already. I'm going to drop a separate review of that book. Let me know what other books I should be reading by this author in the comment section. A Wedding Thing was an audiobook I listened to on Amazon with the Read and Listen program. It is available with Kindle Unlimited. It's a short story. It is by Shay Serrano and Larami Serrano. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This book is 31 pages, but I promise you it's going to make you laugh. What happens is the wife in this book is discussing how her and her husband met each other in college. He was super shy about approaching her. She thought he was cute as hell, but really didn't shoot her shot at him necessarily. They crossed paths down the line again, and it's so cute because they're college students when they first start living together. I want to say they were in college or freshly out of college. There were times where this man would come home with a pet snake, and she'd be like, why didn't you discuss this with me first? He might come home in a month or two with a pet dog, and again, she's like, why didn't you consult me on this? But they stayed together throughout the years. They are planning this wedding. They're like, we're pregnant. We're going to get married. We're going to get married, and we're going to plan the wedding out despite being pregnant. We're like 4 months pregnant. I believe it was with twins. And what is so crazy is, I want to say it was the day before the wedding is when she goes into labor. And how are we going to make it? How are we going to make it to our wedding in time? Like, are we going to have to get married at the hospital? What are we going to do? Like, it was so crazy. But listening to both their perspectives, I feel like this was the first time that I really listened to an audiobook where you can hear them not only starting from the beginning of how they met, but also then they're fast forwarding to the present. And then there'll be moments of reflection of what was happening that weekend when they got married. And it just was so, oh, it was so touching. It was one of those books that made you feel like, okay, even if I'm single, I'm going to find my person. If there is a will, there is a way. I loved how they did not let anything get in their way. I loved seeing the character development in the husband because he went a long distance from coming home with this random dog to now all of a sudden his wife is scared, his wife is nervous, and he is there protecting, coaching, guiding, like being a support, just a pillar of support. I love to see that in men in books, and for this to be a true story, it did it for me. It is a part of the Kindle Unlimited, the one. It is an Amazon original stories book. Let me see, because I feel like I've read other books in this collection as well. I believe I've already read The Parable by Jess Walter. I know for certain I've already read and listened to Before Her by Jacqueline Woodson. I believe I've listened to The Visitor by Dodai Stewart. Speed Grieving, I feel like is on my to be read list. Leela by Naima Coster. I've actually already reviewed that book. I'll probably include the video in here somewhere up in this section. I'll include it, whatever. This would not be the last time I will listen to a book by either of these authors. I wish them nothing but success. Shea Serrano is a #1 New York Times bestselling author. Larami Serrano is a photographer living and working in San Antonio, Texas. Shout out to both of them. And then it's just like, this is a Kindle singles health and fitness and dieting genre as well. 45-minute health and fitness dieting short reads. So it came out July 30th of 2019. It's one of those books that you can listen to very quickly while you're in the car, whether you're at the grocery store walking around, if you're waiting for your doctor to come get you out of the waiting room. Something simple. It is a very nice, clean cut book. Drop a comment below and let me know what other books I should be checking out by either of these authors.